New tonight, if a home goes up for sale in your neighborhood, chances are it won't be on the market for long. A buying frenzy has fueled a surge in prices. Good news for sellers, not good for buyers.
One mid-Michigan couple found themselves on both ends of this reality. They quickly sold their home, only to end up in a bidding war each time they found a home to buy. They did eventually win for a higher price.
On a warm spring night, mowing the lawn with a little help, and playing outside is extra sweet for the Garshaw family. Something they couldn't have imagined weeks ago.
I am more at peace than I have been in probably 2 months.
Back in February, Sarah and Garrett decided to make the move from Mount Pleasant to Saginaw Township.
We know the market's good, so let's just sell, and then, yeah.
Blessing and the curse at the same time.
Yeah.
The blessing? Their former home sold in just days, but that excitement didn't last.
It's intense. You're under the gun.
Their realtor, Matt Smith, worked the phone for weeks.
We sent him so many, day after day, probably at least 3 or 4.
Dozens of homes, and 4 offers later, they kept getting outbid.
Everyone's paying 30 to 50 grand over asking. It's just silly.
There was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of late night phone calls, just really trying to emotionally stay in the game and keep the spirits high.
As time raced away, they feared they may never find a home.
It got to the point where I was like, I can't do this. Like, we're just gonna have to either, give the cats away and live in an apartment, or just tell the people that bought our house, like, look, we can't. Sorry, and then have them be heartbroken.
With a market like this, those tough conversations aren't unusual. There are simply too few available homes for the number of people who want them.
I listed a house in Midland last week, and we had 140 showing requests for one house.
Demand far outweighs supply. This is a look at the last 5 years here in Michigan, according to Redfin. As the number of homes on the market has dropped, purchase prices have climbed. And it's not just buyers having trouble. Renters are also being squeezed out of a competitive market, with Rent.com reporting Michigan saw an 18.5% increase for the average rent of a one-bedroom between 2020 and 2021, 17.78% for a two-bedroom.
This housing crisis is real and has to be addressed, and that's what we're working on with our federal dollars.
State Senator Ken Horn is on the Housing Michigan Coalition, a bipartisan group working with local officials and organizations.
When you've got business and labor and Republicans and Democrats all working together to solve the same problem, eventually that problem is going to get solved.
Some of the coalition's top priorities: work on zoning, knock down some regulations, get a tax credit for builders, ensure there's housing for the workforce, and 2 of his big items: grow the state's population and attract skilled workers.
There's always a solution. We just have to get enough minds together to fix it.
The solution to Sarah and Garrett's home search: finding a home before it even hit market, and then offering almost 20 grand over ask.
He called me, he's like, "Are you sitting down?" And I was like, "No, do you want me to?" And he was like, "Yes." And so I sat down at my desk, and he was like, "We did it, we did it."
I don't know where that's gonna go. Yeah, right there maybe. That's not a bad spot.
As the whole family begins to settle in, even the furry ones, they're excited and relieved to write this next chapter.
All the other ones I have now come to terms with, we lost for a reason, and that this is the one we were supposed to be in.
And now, the only thing they're racing against is bedtime.
Can you do that one in again?
They were both so cute. And Matt Smith with Modern Realty tells TV5 he expects demand to remain strong, but prices are plateauing.
Newly released figures from the federal government appear to support him. Sales of newly constructed homes fell 17% last month, the 4th consecutive month of declines.
And new home sales fell to 591,000, down from 709,000 in March. That's the lowest level since the early days of the pandemic in April 2020.